Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on wherever you're watching us from. Thank you very much for joining us. This is your favorite political talk show that is coming to you all the way from Accra, the capital city of the Republic of Ghana. And this afternoon, we'll be discussing very, very important topics. But before we go into what we're coming to discuss today, I'll take a short break. When I come back, I'll introduce who my guest is. But before then, this political talk show, it is to educate you. It is to address certain issues in our democratic dispensation. And we'll be taking views from industry experts. We'll be taking views from political figures. We'll also be doing personality profiles on this particular program. I'll take a short break, but when I come back, you know who my guest is. I'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. My name is Xavier Kojo-Nyamadi. I'll be your host for this political talk show. I have with me here a very important personality, a gentleman who has the country Ghana at heart, who want to say a lot of things, who want to work with a lot of things, who want to work with a lot of people, who want our democracy to work well. He's a very young man at heart, a young man within, and a young man without. Let me introduce my guest to you. Hi, how are you doing, my guest?
I'm good, Mr. Xavier. What
how
about
is business?
You? Business is very, very well.
It's been a while. It's been a while. You have been telling me that you have Ghana at heart. You have been telling me about our current practice of democracy and how you have it at heart to change certain things. I brought you on this show just to let Ghanaians know what is on your heart. You have been telling me a lot of things about education, the level of corruption, bribery, technology, business, economics, and all diverse fields. This afternoon, even though our main topic for today is to see Ghana's democracy, we'll be diverting a lot to certain sectors. Yeah. But before we start officially, I would like my guest to introduce himself to you shortly, then we commence the program. Yeah. So please introduce yourself to my guest.
So I am Patrick Ofoedome, CEO of Internship Africa. Yeah, we provide internship solutions to companies, and we help students to actually get internship opportunities at companies, various companies. But we have other businesses we run as well. Yeah, so that's the brief introduction I can give.
Yes. Thank you very much. I want to welcome you once again to my show. All right, so basically I have some questions for you, and then we'll see how the approach is like. The program will also invite certain industry experts, as I mentioned earlier, to share their views on what we're discussing. So we are promising you nothing but the best of all. So, Mr. Patrick,
sure.
My first question for you will be on the military transition to our democracy, as you're saying now. The question I'm asking is that how will you see the transition from military rule to a democratic rule? What is your view on it? Has it helped Ghana, or we are still the same way that we are? They want to listen to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here to share my thoughts. And it's good you told the people that I have Ghana at heart. Sometimes I actually post pictures about Ghana and talking about why are you traveling, Ghana is good, do this, and they're always like, what are you seeing in Ghana that you want to be here? So yeah, I really have Ghana at heart. But to your question, it's quite coincidental that I did a post about that on my Instagram page, talking about the transition from military regime to our democracy right now. And I was talking about the fact that we know the military that we had, the figure we always mention is Rawlings. From as he came, did a coup d'etat, and we actually entered into the republic and democracy in 1992. But to your question, has it helped or it hasn't helped?
Yeah, so before Rawlings, there were other coups.
Yeah, there were other coups.
And coup and all that. So let me just put in that. Yeah.
So, yeah, it has helped, in my opinion. It has helped in the sense that if you look at the military regimes, usually everywhere, military regimes are more of dictators. They centralize power within themselves, and the people don't actually have a say.
Yeah.
So my question is, how are you going to rule over people who do not have a say in your rule? Your eyes cannot be everywhere. Your ears cannot be everywhere. You can't be everywhere at the same time. So you need people you are ruling to actually let you know that this and that is what we need. This is what the country needs. This is where we are going. And can you make policies to do this and that? In this country that we are, you can see a lot of business industries moving on. So if you are not going to take the opinions of these industry experts, so for example, our brothers at Abosokan, who import spare parts and all that. Yeah. So if there's a military juncture, they are not going to take the opinions of these people to actually let them know that, oh, these things, this tax, this, that, is actually affecting our businesses. And at the end of the day, it will affect the consumers who come and buy from us. So in a democratic regime, usually the opinions of people sometimes matter. Yes. So when they actually let you know that in this industry, this manufacturing, make policies so that it can benefit the industry and benefit the whole people in general. So for me, my opinion is the democracy has actually helped. But as in, if we have practiced it well, that's a whole different thing.
All right, thank you very much. Since you have answered this way, I think my follow-up question will be, how do you evaluate our democracy in Ghana compared to the Western world, probably to Europe and then other places? How has our democracy been, if you want to do a comparison with the Western world and then the Republic of Ghana? Yeah.
So, this question, if you even listen to radio a lot, I know you do, and these are 3 stations.
Yeah.
If they are talking about democracy, the translation they use is Kebinamin Kebi.
Yeah, Kebinamin Kebi. Yeah.
I feel I actually always say that statement is so chaotic, in my opinion.
Why is it chaotic?
Kebinamin Kebi.
Yes.
I feel like it should be. It's not everything now, Beckham. Do you know there's a political figure who said, you have a freedom of speech, but yes, your freedom after your speech is not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. You see, there are a lot of people who...
When people say Kebinamin Kebi in the local parlance, it is to mean freedom of speech. You see, you just mentioned that in the military era, you know, people are not given the opportunity, you know, yes, to have their free will to do certain things. But in a democratic dispensation, you know that free representation is there and free speech and all that. Yeah, so if they are saying Kebinamin Kebi, it's a true reflection of what democracy is.
But where has the Kebinamin Kebi gotten us? You know, there are a lot of people who come and sit on radio and just spew rubbish. And you know, people, you see, all these things account to, you have to look at the effect of all these things. Because what is the illiteracy rate in Ghana? What you actually say, people will take it to heart and be like, oh, yes, we'll go with what you are saying. But probably it is not factual. Because you are actually saying that Kebinamin Kebi, so you are going to say your mind. Comparing our democracy to that of the Western world, there's a vast difference, a very vast difference. Using US as a yardstick, where we all know that they actually preach and actually make sure that nations practice democracy. You see, their democracy is very different. Even if you look at their state is actually made up of Senate. They make their own rules, their own laws. You see, they've crafted the whole democracy to suit them. Yeah. So, unlike Ghana, where probably the executive will make a decision and it affects the whole country. Yeah. So, in US, so you can get a state probably making a rule, maybe a rule in Los Angeles will not be the same, or a policy in Los Angeles does not apply to a person in New Jersey. You understand? So when we actually sit down and look at the people you are ruling, how do they think? What's the literacy rate? How do they accept power? How are they able to, you know, navigate through the whole policies? How is the understanding of fiscal policy, this, that, democracy? then we can actually craft it in a way that it will suit them. For me, in my opinion, I have my own style I really want to bring when I become a president. I want to blend the monarch system and the democracy, where we'll have the chiefs, sub-chiefs of a particular region actually handling some administrative and developmental projects in their own region, so that we can eliminate the regional ministers, MCDCs, assemblyman, and all those people from there. Because I know it's debatable.
Yeah, it's very, very debatable.
It's very debatable. Yes.
a lot of reservations.
If you
to
look
that,
at
actually.
our pre-colonial times,
Yes.
you see, we had the Dagbon Kingdom, the prevailing ones were the Dagbon Kingdom and the Ashanti Kingdom. That should tell you that before that there has not been a part of history that said that the kings were not ruling the people well. There was no book, there's no history on that to say that the kings, the people were complaining about what the kings were doing.
No, but we saw history had it. We saw wicked kings, wicked chiefs that misruled their people. The typical one is King Agokoli that we all know. No. So, those are typical examples of how,
but you see,
we do not want to say every dispensation is 100% correct, but we need the perfection of them.
Yes.
You see, I will not dispute you if you say you want to mix monarch with democracy and all that, but then our constitution also makes it very clear, the kind of, democracy we should practice, and as to how it accepts what you are saying
for the past
and how are
years,
you going to implement it?
For the past 32 years, the democracy that the Constitution says we should practice, how has it helped us? We are in this situation because of our administrative problems.
Yes, exactly.
It's not because of the leaders we put in power. Not mainly because of...
Are you sure?
No.
Because to a large extent, a lot of complaints that are coming up has got to do with our leaders and the kind of choices and the kind of decisions
because there are a lot of loopholes in our democratic dispensation. You understand? If there are a lot of you see, in US, there's corruption everywhere. There's corruption in US. Last time I was watching an interview where the US military had to buy something for like $30 or something, but they were buying it at $900. It's everywhere.
Wow.
But you see, the thing is, what systems are in place that so that to have
viewers, the conversation is getting very, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah. Very shortly, I'll be inviting your thoughts, your comments on what we have discussed so far. I'll get back to you after this short break. Welcome back, and thank you for staying glued to your set to listen to this very beautiful conversation. Before we left for break, he mentioned the literacy rates of Ghana. So I want to let him know that for now, as at 2020, our literacy rate was 80.38. Yeah, 80.38. So the literacy rate.
Who did the statistics?
The Ghana Statistical Authority.
When I become that statistics board, I'll cancel them.
Why will you cancel that? No, these are institutions that are formed to advise government on certain things.
But
and we have been using Ghana Statistical Service for a very long time, including census and all that. It informed decision taking and decision making. So if you are going to scrap that very, very important institution, how do you get your data for work?
But you know, over the years, they are always forging this thing. Do you know me? I don't believe that we are.
No, but you
don't. Do you know I don't believe we are even 35 million as we say.
That is your opinion. But
yes.
if you
But how do you go around counting people?
Good. If you can prove to us that you have a data that indicates that Ghana is not 33 million that we're talking about, fine. But you cannot just sit here and tell me that, you know, Ghana is not a 3 million, and then that you flawed all the statistical service has been doing in terms of census and all that.
But if you are saying that, by the statistics,
it should be backed by science and data.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yes.
What you are saying, they are very, very good institutions to actually back policies
Yes.
and all that. But you see, because of their errors they produce for the government, that is the reason why the government don't make policies to actually suit us. But that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, yes, I understand. That's
Yes.
a whole different conversation.
Yes.
So let's continue.
Yes. So I was actually saying that we need to put the systems in place. For me, I believe that you see the recent news where the one of the chiefs at Domeobuase or something, where he actually gathered funds from his people living abroad, NGOs, donors, and all that.
Yeah,
and
in Ashanti region.
yes, he made the town very, very urban. He urbanized the whole town and all that. Those are the things I'm talking about. You see, if you look at the roles of an MC and DC right now, what they are supposed to do, they are actually not doing it. Not entirely, but most of it. Most of them are not doing it. Because there was the duty of an MC to be the channel between the normal people in the municipal and the central government.
Those are the government representatives, yes, in their local communities.
You understand? Yeah. But what do? I have a friend who is teaching at one village in Kumasi, in Ashanti region. And he told me that the MC came to build, or did the DC to build a classroom block. And if you had the amount he used to even build that. You see, but if a chief who is there, for me, I believe in the monarch system because they are there for a long term. So they are going to make a long-term decision. Like this man was saying, the chief I'm talking about, it was like they have a 7-year developmental plan.
Are you trying to say that what Morocco is doing now is the best?
I think so. But you see, that's what I'm saying, that there will be a balance. Where they will have jurisdiction of power. And the political party, the government will also have their jurisdiction. Not everything will be done or can be decided at a monarch level. You understand?
Do you think that where we have gotten to now, this strategy will be well understood by Ghanaians?
I think so.
Because we have gone too far with democracy.
I think so. You see, that, like I mentioned,
coming back to practice the monarch system or to blend democracy and monarch system, do you think it's a good enough suggestion for Ghanaians we need now in our dispensation?
I think it is. You see, I believe that what will happen in the central region, or what will be prosperous in central region might not be prosperous in Greater Accra.
Most definitely.
You understand? And the second reason is that these chiefs and kings are there for a long time. You understand? So they are going to make long-term rules. In our dispensation right now, it's 4 years. The representative just wants to do something to win the next elections. So whatever the person will do, how to convince the people. So that's why we have the problem of people politicians paying 100 cedis, 200 cedis, 300 cedis for people and robbing them of their future. But a king, I believe, that these are my people. I represent them. Even if you move from the Ashanti region and come to Accra to hustle, when you make it, like what they were doing for the recently for the CAT, the Okonfano Teaching Hospital,
yes.
You see, all these people are in Accra here, but he mobilized them and told them that this is our own. Let's bring money to do this. So that's where I'm coming from. But the politician there doesn't really care. He knows that, okay, this is my people. I have the majority of people voting for me. At the end of the day, I'm going to give them 200 cedis, you give them t-shirt and food. And I'll rob them of their future. For me, I don't believe that a politician can give me 500 cedis to vote for me. I want you to make policies for me to be able to make $1 million. You understand? So that's why when you mentioned about the literacy rate, I was like, no, I don't believe it's true. Because the Ghanaian literacy rate, even those in school are illiterate. Because you can be dealing and having a conversation with someone in your class, and how the person thinks, you'll be asking yourself, like, are you really serious? You understand? So for me, my opinion is I wish there will be a blend of that, where experts, the judiciary will sit down and allocate the policies and the powers of these people, what they are supposed to do and what they are not supposed to do, what the central government is supposed to do and what the central government is supposed to do. So when it comes to those levels, these people are going to take care of the infrastructure and all that. The taxes that will be taken in that region will be allocated to the Monarch system, where they are going to use it for infrastructure development.
Okay, hold on for me. We have a local governance expert online now who will also be sharing the thoughts in your blend of democracy and the Monarch system.
Yeah.
So I have Mr. Emmanuel Echiao Sampon. Mr. Emmanuel Echiao Sampon. Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Hello, Mr. Champon. Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Yes. Hello. Okay, viewers, we lost Mr. Champon there. We'll continue the conversation. Once we get him, he will share his insights on the topic we are discussing now, on the blend of the monarch system and the democracy. Let's continue.
Yeah. So I think that's it. I think where Ghana has got into, that's what we've not. It's just like you saying that you've dated a girl for 3 years. The girl is not, or 5 years. The girl is not helping you. Are you going to sacrifice your 20, 30 years of happiness for that 5 years? You get what I'm saying? Well, we've been practicing democracy for the past 32 years.
Okay, so I've been signaled that. Hi, Mr. Sampon. Hello. Hello, good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me? Hello. Sorry, it's like we are still not connecting to Mr. Sampon, a local governance expert who want to also share his insight into what you are discussing.
I know this thing is going to cause a whole lot of conversation. Yeah.
Okay, that is why we needed an expert to also share his insight on what you're doing. Okay, so we can go on.
Yeah. So I think that's that. Like when we are able to do that, I feel our democracy. We are not throwing the democracy away in general.
Yeah.
You know, like one time I traveled to Amejope.
Yeah.
And with a few friends, and we went to. So I think we were walking through the town, and there was a gong beater. And one of my friends was like, "Hey, is this thing still there? We studied this in social." I'm like, "Yes." You see, some of these things. You see, those people are closer to chiefs.
Yeah.
And you see, every chief. So like, let's say the Asante Kingdom like this. So there's the two for who overrules the whole Asante Kingdom. But there are sub chiefs in these places. Yeah. Where
that's why allegiance to the two for.
So they will know. Then when they have the original House of Chief meetings, they can actually say, okay, this region we need this and need that. And
but actually, that is what they are doing.
But you see, the power has been taken away from them to the political representative. You see, the power they have now they are being controlled by the political people.
Yes, I think this will lead to my next question on chiefs. Do you think that there is too much political influence with the chiefs?
Yes, in current times.
In current times?
Yes.
And why so? And how can this be solved?
So, when we constitutionalize it and we give them power.
Because you know our constitution frowns on chiefs doing politics, active politics.
Why is that?
Yes, so as a chief, you are leading a lot of people, including a lot of ethnic groups. Okay, so your political affiliation or activeness in politics may affect certain decisions that you make and will cause some kind of conflict within the sector, you know, the community that you govern.
Then I don't think political parties are supposed to even go and see a chief and go and greet him and tell them this.
You see, these are quite traditional.
Yes.
Okay, if I'm coming to your house, the norm is that I knock at your door, you receive me, we welcome me and all that. I cannot have access to, let's say, I want to have an access to a church. Basically, I must see the head pastor and all that before having access to even the congregation. Okay, so it's the same thing. Before I have access to his people that he is governing, I must have access to him. I must go and ask permission that I want to speak to your people. Yes.
So if
then I understand.
If,
so
if
that's the reason why you see political
if the political figures
the
actually know that that's the power of the chiefs over there, right? That's the power of the chiefs in whoever they are ruling. You see, why would you actually take powers from them in making decisions and making infrastructural developments in their whole community?
You see, one
time recently they arrested a chief.
Yes.
Who was going to do a road or something.
Yes.
Even though there are protocols in doing all those things. But his point was that he has actually asked the government to come and do this, and you are not coming. So he feels like he has an obligation to his people to make their lives comfortable.
We are not seizing the chiefs for taking certain decisions. The 1992 Constitution made it clear as to the extent at which chiefs can go. We are not seizing them to make decisions. It is only when you made mention that you cited an example that a chief has gone to construct a road or has been engaged in some community development that has caused an issue. But you should ask, what is actually the issue you're talking about? Did he follow the protocols? Okay, we have district assemblies. Did he pass through all those protocols? Or he did it on its own? Sometimes when a project wants to be started, or when we have a project that is being carried out, they do feasibility studies, they do other things, and then the project will start and all that. Maybe, I don't have the fact for this. There have been a roadmap to this particular project where markings have been done. But what he did probably would distract the flow of the project, or maybe the project has been awarded to someone who is on the contract, who has been paid already. So we should look at the issue not because we want to hit at the chief, because he's doing his work, he wants to develop his town for his people and all that. But we should find out actually what the problem is.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So obviously protocols must be followed and all that. For me, like to your question, I feel like we should give the chief certain powers, like I said earlier, certain powers to actually make decisions where we'll have it at that level. You understand? So that they will not exceed their powers. As in, so when it comes to infrastructure development, okay, so when you want to do this as like a chief or a king, so you see probably the district office, maybe the highway authority office, to actually know that, okay, this is the kind of material we need to do this road, that. But the chiefs will have no policies, maybe like in business. You see, I always you see the US like this, per state, they have their own rules. Like whatever happens in that state, if you go out of that state, might not apply in the next state. You understand? So, for example, you can go to the north and you realize that, okay, when someone starts a business, we can actually give them like 5 years tax free. But in Accra, maybe you can do it 2 years. You understand? But in this democratic dispensation right now, whatever the central government has said, it runs through the whole country. But probably the north person actually needs, because we need that incentive for people to actually do more businesses there. So what are you going to do? You're going to say that, okay, in north, when you open a business or when you start a business in this, 5 years, you're not going to pay tax. To actually let people not migrate from the north to come to the south. So when they are there, that tax that you would have been paying the government, you will be able to hold your business down.
This is excellent. Viewers, the conversation is getting more interesting, just as I said earlier on. We promised to give you something good today, and that is exactly what is going on. The conversation is getting very intense. We try to reach a local governance expert online to share his thoughts. We're trying to connect him, but then it's not going through. But we're still having our conversation. What you have mentioned now brings me to Nkrumah's time, where he made education in the northern region free. We saw the immediate past government, which is the NDC government, said that they want to do the secondary school education progressively free education. so that, just as you mentioned, sector by sector or region by region, we will be run in that state, so that, you know, for example, northern region will start the free education, then we move to probably to western region, to other regions, and then finally we have free education or two. But this government, okay, the current NPP government is saying that, you know, that will waste our time, and what we need is free education now. Just as Nkrumah said, that self-government now. Yeah. So they say free education, and then this is where we have found ourselves. So what you are saying, that we should give tax incentives to people in deprived areas, that's subscribed, even though education in our outline has a whole discussion on it. Yeah. But I just want to chip this one in. Do you think that what we are going through now as completely free education, it is at its best than what the previous government suggested, that progressively free education, just as enshrined in the 1992 Constitution?
Yeah, I think the progressive one would have been better, because the timing of free education now is wrong. Even though it's going to increase the literacy rate in the country, free education is good, so your people can have education. But what's the timing? Currently, how do you get the funds to actually provide free education? What are you selling? What, as a country, what's your revenue scheme? We need to ask ourselves all those questions. What's your revenue scheme? Where's the money coming from? Are you borrowing to actually fund this free education? If you are borrowing, what's the return on investment? What's the sustainability plan? All those things. For me, I was having an argument with someone. I told the person that, for me, I wouldn't have done a free education entirely. It would have been subsidized to the level at which it would be very affordable for people to actually get education. Because where are you getting your food costs from? Your food, look at recently this blogger, Kobiche, went to a secondary school. And you see the meat that 12 people are sharing.
It's an eyesore.
Oh, Mr. Savior. So
ladies and gentlemen, he's telling me that a piece of meat is shared by about 12 people in the secondary schools. The conversation is getting phenomenal. We'll take a short break. When I come back, we'll move into the 1992 Constitution. You will have to tell me whether those calling for the review of the 1992 Constitution, you subscribe to it or not.
Sure.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. This is a political talk show, your favorite at that. This is a talk show that is analyzing your democracy, analyzing my democracy, analyzing your Ghana, my Ghana, and then Nkrumah's Ghana. Even though there are recently been issues about whether one person funded Ghana or not, that is another conversation for us to delve into. So now the 1992 Constitution. Do you subscribe to those calling for a complete review of the 1992 Constitution, or we should do certain amendment and we are free to go? Because the 1992 Constitution is a document on its own.
Yeah.
What did you subscribe to?
Oh, I don't think...
A partial review or a complete review?
Oh, I think that there are parts of the Constitution that it's beneficial and is good. For example, the PNDC law, that's one of the best laws in the Constitution, where when a spouse dies, how his property is shared and all that. Like, that's one of the best laws.
So that's the aspect you like?
Oh yeah, but it has helped a lot of people. Well, you know, in this our country, a lot of people don't really write wills and all that, and they have properties, and you don't know when you will die. And when you die, how is the property? So that kind of law. So for me, there are certain aspects I think there should be a partial, I think 80% review of the Constitution. I did a post on my Instagram page where I mentioned that the Constitution was actually written in fear. It was actually written in fear, in the sense that when we're transitioning to the constitutional rule, our former president, Rawlings, had to protect himself and his people. That's why in the constitution it says that when an MP is going to parliament and he has even done something, the police can't even arrest him. How is that? How is that? Like, I hear that and I'm like, recently when the MTTD were doing some tax force on, I think the motorway or something, and one of the MPs was using the side ends. Yeah. And he was telling the MTTD that, do you know who I am? Do you know what I'm going to do for the government? You can kill somebody on the road. Why are you saying that? They were telling that you have to go to the office. He was saying that he's going to parliament. And but the constitution says that you can't make an arrest of an MP when he has even...
No, you see, that there have been a recent bill that is asking for sirens for our political leaders, maybe MPs, and then, you know, our honorables around.
Even with that, I don't even subscribe to the sirens. So I feel there are certain people of political power who need these escorts. Okay. The Chief Justice, Speaker of Parliament.
Are you saying that those who make laws for her do not have to be protected?
Not protected. As in the sirens, you going through the traffic.
They are going to. Sometimes they are called on emergency basis to make laws for you and I.
Oh no, I don't think it's right. There are a lot of countries, developed countries, where you see a member of parliament even riding bicycle. Yes. I'm not saying they should ride bicycle and all that, but I feel like, you see, when you are within your people, you can make the best decisions. Because I don't think they know that children of 5 years, 6 years are standing on the roadside selling plantain chips.
They are
because you are going, for me, I believe they are not aware. Because you are in your siren going, and you don't even know, you don't even feel the heat of traffic on Bechilema Taeko Road. You don't even know, because
they are aware.
I have a friend whose dad is one of the big people. He's always using a motorcade. There's always an escort. So if you tell him that the traffic there, you can spend 2 hours, he will not believe you. How are you going to make laws for me? How are you going to tell Parliament that we need to expand this road? Because you've not sat in the traffic for 30 minutes before. When someone is telling you that, Charlie, the sun is really hot and these people are actually suffering, they are selling in these traffic lights and all those things. You see? So when you are within your people, when you move within, so you can imagine, what is it called? An MP of, let's say, Tema West constituency, right? You're always in, your glasses are always rolled up. Sometimes it's even funny, when they are looking for power, they are able to come down to the people. But after power, you don't even see them. You don't even see them braiding for, you don't even see them at a barbering shop. They do home services. But when they need power, they will go to the barbering shop. You know, the barbering shop is one of the places you can actually get information from the street boys. Yeah. Now, oh, boss, this is what we are going to, this thing I'm even doing right now, Karano. And the price, I was selling it at 5 cedis. Now it's 15 cedis. And I can't even price it at 20 because it will be too expensive. I can't get money. That's when the member of parliament can say that, oh, then this thing is really real. Let me go to parliament and do this thing. So for me, all these things, for me, I feel like the highest ranks need, of course, those things. The Chief Justice, Speaker of Parliament, the President, Vice President, Attorney General, Jerry, all those people. But our MPs, I think they should be within them. We've not gotten anywhere in our democracy. We've not gotten anywhere as a country.
So are you in a way saying that our MPs are far away from us?
Yeah, they are very far.
Why?
They are very far.
But we always see them. You see, we have given them.
Where do you see them? Where do you see your MP?
No, we give them job to make laws for us. You want your MP to come and be with you in your house?
No, I'm not saying you should come to my house. I'm not saying you should come to my house. You
so
see,
we give them a job.
You are seeing, we are in an election year. We are in an election year.
Yes.
You see them going to State Banku for their
Wash people's things. And all that.
But do you see that after, when they get power?
Well.
Do you even see them, even not to do that, do you even see them having a community engagement? They leave it for the DCs. But an MP will go to a house and go and do all these things when he's looking for power.
Oh, yeah.
But after that, do you even go to a household?
So who do you blame? The people or the MP?
The people.
Exactly.
The
So
people.
you cannot
see,
blame the MP.
When we start making them accountable, you see, and about the review of the Constitution.
Yes.
You see, I feel the executive has a lot of power.
Okay.
The executive has a lot of power. For example, I don't believe the president should be the one to appoint attorney general.
I think that there is this popular saying that you are dancing before the drums. Because our second question is basically on what you're saying. It's on the three arms of government: the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive. So the question is, do you think that the executive is overpowered? There have been several concerns already in the public domain, and that the executive is overpowered, the president is given too much powers compared to the legislature and then the judiciary. Just as you started earlier, that the president appoints the attorney general and all that and all that. In your own point of view, do you think that that should happen?
No, it shouldn't. That's the reason we have corruption issues in the country.
Why?
What's the role of the attorney general? To look in the books of.
Yeah, the attorney general advises the government of the day on legal issues.
On legal issues.
Yes.
So, for example, if I appoint you, I'm
and
the president.
And the Minister of Justice for the state.
If I appoint you, if I'm a president and I appoint you as the attorney general or a special prosecutor, and my Minister of Transport has spent some money on some road that has not been constructed, are we not in the same basket?
We are in the same basket. You see, but the law has no mercy to whether you are my friend or not.
But you see
if
that
you are found culpable, the law should deal with you.
But do you think it even comes out for you to even hear that the minister has done something like that?
Oh, but we have seen that the special prosecutor has followed a lot of cases, just that no one has been prosecuted so far, except for.
It's good that you say that. In this, I'm saying we've had three. Is it three? Is it the third one or the second special prosecutor after Amidu?
There's the second one.
Why?
And they're even calling for his head.
Yes. Yeah. Because you see, for me, I believe that the executive power is so absolute, in the sense that I don't believe the president should appoint the chief justice. I don't believe the president should appoint the speaker of parliament. I don't believe.
President does not appoint a speaker of parliament. The speaker of parliament is elected by the member of parliament. Okay, you know, when we vote for a member of parliament at the eve of the end of a particular regime, the member of parliament that we have elected will have to also elect who becomes the next speaker of parliament.
But it's usually on the side of the majority in parliament. Because
it's quite debatable until recently, where we see that, you know, the current speaker of parliament, Honorable Suman Agbagbin, is from the opposition side and has become the speaker of parliament.
You see, that's the system I want us to create. Yeah. Because when there is a system where we actually make it like, okay, the long-serving member who has served on this committee and that, who has done this and done that in parliament, will automatically be the speaker of parliament. And I think their term should even be longer than the president, the 4 years regimes. Yes, it's debatable, but for me, that's what I believe. So, for example,
but parliaments are formed with regimes. So once a government is going and other is coming, or whilst a government is maintaining power, you know, there have to be an election for a new speaker.
But I know there are certain bills that or certain policies that are underway which will not be assent to by the president. Probably the regime might have ended.
Yes.
But when the speaker of parliament is still there, that thing can actually still move on.
Okay, I'm yet to see that.
So for me, I believe that when it's done, there are systems like that. For example, the chief justice, the judiciary. The assistant, okay, someone who has worked through the ranks of the court system, worked this long term, done this, done that. The system is there. So there could be a time where we can have 3 candidates qualifying for the same job. That's where maybe the vetting will come in by this and that, so that the executive power will not have a lot of influence or much influence on the judiciary. Like we are seeing now, most of the Supreme Court judges are politically affiliated. The current government will say no, but they qualify. But yes, you see, that's the whole thing. If we make the judiciary autonomous in their own way, there will be checks, and that's why we will have the checks and balances well. Because if I should appoint you, I've given you a Supreme Court judge, and I commit an offense, you are going to be biased automatically. In one way or the other, we are humans. But if you didn't appoint me there, I'm the president, and I commit that person's allegiance is going to be to the nation, not to the political party. That's what we are seeing now. Because if I appoint you as a CEO of Maritime Authority, your allegiance is not to the whole maritime industry or the government or the people. Your allegiance is to the political party. And if you do that, where is the country going? You are going to make policies based on how your government will win the next election, but not the country at heart.
That's fine. Thank you very much. Viewers, I know you are enjoying this conversation. If you want to participate in this program, please drop your comment at the comment section. Let us know what you also think about the deep conversations that are going on here. I am learning a lot, and I believe that you are also learning a lot from these deep conversations. So I'll take a short break. When I come back, just as I mentioned earlier when I started, we'll be veering off, we'll be entering. When I come back, we are going to be discussing one policy, or we're going to examine one policy of the ruling government and then one policy of the opposition that are seeking to be elected into government. We will discuss one of their policies and see where we are now. So I'll take a break. When I come back, we'll continue the conversation. Sure. Viewers, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this your favorite political talk show. I have with me in the studio Mr. Patrick Ofuedome. I'm right?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, who has been sharing with us his insights. I told you earlier on that he has Ghana at heart, and we have been discussing everything about democracy, everything about our constitution and Ghana. So before I left for break, I mentioned that if you come back, we are going to be discussing one policy of the main opposition party, the NDC, and then now the ruling government, the MPP. So we start with the MPP. His Excellency, the Vice President, who is now the candidate for the ruling New Patriotic Party, who has said that he is going to provide mobile phones, that is iPhones for the youth, that they will be paying about 1 cedi or 2 cedis every month. I want to have your take on that. Looking at our current economic challenges that we've been facing, it's undeniable fact that Ghana is going through a lot of economic crunch. Do you think that the policy of the Vice President, who is now the candidate for the NPP, who is suggesting or who is bringing out the policy that he is going to share phones for the youth, iPhones for the youth, and so that you can be paying a little by little, maybe 1 cedi or 2 cedis every month? Do you think that that is what we need now? Or because we are in an IT world, the phones are very important for you and I?
Okay, thank you. So I heard his comment on that, and personally, I feel we just took the literal meaning of what he said. Yes, I believe he was just mentioning that he's going to bring. I think because of the people he was talking to. Yes. So I believe that he's just saying in general that there's going to be a credit scoring system where you can actually purchase things. It could be houses, cars, anything you want to purchase on the credit base where you be paying it bit by bit. You understand? Yeah. For me, one of the policies I really like about this government is their digitalization policy, where the Ghana card thing is really helping. We've not gotten there yet, but it's something that they really did well. But with that, with the credit scoring system, you see, I believe we don't have the systems now to actually do that. Because if you should leave your current place of work and you work in a different company, that's unless your SNET and your tax that you pay, that will actually identify that you've changed your company. Aside that, how will even labor even know that you've switched jobs?
But you just allowed the current government about the digitalization agenda, and I believe that they did the Ghana card system to synchronize our system, so that wherever we are going, we should be able to, have a lens on you and see.
But it's not there yet. That's what I'm saying. So for me, it's a good thing, but I don't think the timing is right now. The timing is not right at the current state of the economy.
Yes, so I was about asking that, looking at our current economy, would the credit scoring system be efficient, looking at the level at which we have borrowed?
Yes. It won't be efficient. Even private organizations as well, these Lebanese who even sell these utensils, and they go to these government offices and give it to the women and pay on credit and all those things. You see, they have their system that they do. But if we are going to do it on a general terms, it means that you have to privatize it. And if you privatize it, there are a lot of implications on that when we get our economic experts. If you privatize it, it means that what's the interest rate going to be? If you are going to pay, if you buy it at hand for 300 cedis and you are paying it at length, they can't regulate it. They can't regulate it. What's your power on those private entities or financial markets? So we have to look at all those things, and now that the government has actually dissolved a lot of financial sectors and all that, how are you even going to do that? Is it going to be controlled by the central government or what? What's the database like? How even our address system is even some way? Because in my house I have 2 addresses on. I don't know which one to use.
I have 2 addresses. I don't even,
you understand?
The point, I don't even know which one to use.
And even
so do you even use the Ghana Post GPS?
Oh, I think it's used. I think it's used. But you see, they did another one, which I don't. So I have 2 addresses on my gate, and I don't even know which one to use. So even our address system, urbanization, even sometimes Uber drivers will tell you the map was a 10 left. By the 10 left, there's somebody's house there. There's somebody's house there. So how even this quick credits people borrowed money from, look at how they were suffering to even get their monies back. They now have
but the digitization agenda is supposed to solve all these issues.
Yes, so that's why I'm saying that we've not gotten there. Because until we get there, we can't. Until those systems are put in place, we can actually do. But until then, I don't think.
All right, thank you very much. Let's move to the major opposition party, the National Democratic Congress. They have also made mention of running a 24-hour economy. They want to run a robust economy where the economy will run on a 24-hour basis, where people will have to work more than what we are seeing in the current dispensation. Do you think that is what we need now? And if you run a 24-hour economy, will our economic woes reduce?
Yeah, I think it's a laudable policy, but then again, if you are running a 24-hour economy, what amenities or structures have you put in place to actually do that? How is your power supply like?
Yeah.
What's your security like? Because some should wake up at 2 a.m. and be at work.
But they have said that the 24-hour economy is to boost employment as well.
Of course,
so
that's the main goal.
Measures,
but you should consider other things. Now that we are now starting, there are a lot of hungry people and evil people out there. At 2 a.m. a 23-year-old person, even just now, they had Legon. Someone just going to school around that 9 p.m. They are even killed on the road. So how is the security like? How is the power supply like?
Yeah.
If the machines are not able to run, what are the people doing there? Just as Pentex here, the industries here, most of them run, I think, shifts. They run 24 hours.
Yeah, shifts.
Yeah, mini plast, I know.
Yeah, mini plast.
They run the shift system and all that. So with those ones, some of them have actually started doing that. Some of them are employing about 1,000 people.
Yeah.
It's going to employ people. Actually, they're going to boost the economy because every developed country is how things are being run. People have employment, people pay tax, people do this, everybody has a job. That's what runs the economy. So if we are going to do this, it means that we have to also put the things in place to actually do that. So if we are going to do it, means that there is going to be a pressure, more call for the power supply.
Yeah.
And we, over 8 years or 7 years, I should say, we've been having intermittent challenges of the power supply. You know, if we are using, I'm not a power expert, if you are using, let's say, 30 kilowatts or whatever they measure it right now, it means that you are going to need about 150. And that the government has the power
in 2018, when the NPP government took over from the NDC government, the energy minister then made mention that we have power in excess. So what happened? Yes, he made mention that we have power in excess.
That's a big question. So what happened? You know, some of the things is that...
You know, we're even supplying our neighboring countries.
So the thing is that, you see, so there could be a house here that uses one microwave, a fridge, and all that. And the person feels like, okay, I've gotten some $1 million, let me build some apartments. And the person will go for a permit. You see, these are some of the things we don't really take for, we take for granted. Because when you build that structure, it means that you're going to use about 7-8 microwaves. But does that correlate with the power supply for that area? That's where the municipal assembly must come in. You go and pay them 2,000, 65,000, and they'll give you the permit. But they need to actually confirm with to assess that okay, this person comes to build
power supply will be efficient enough to.
People are just building structures all around
without thinking about
all these things. So that's the problem.
Because they are not experts in the field. So if I'm coming to put my structure on, would I have to be thinking about who is going to power this thing? While there is electricity, definitely I'll power my house.
No, but you see, it has an economic implication on us.
And do you blame the person building the house? Because I'm building and I need power, and because I'm paying for it.
So the thing is that I blame the government for not putting the policies in place that you can't just build. You know, if you go to developed countries, you can't just build. You can't just build your house because you are not going to increase water supply. You are not going to increase power supply. You get me? So if this area is supposed to get about 100 kilowatts or something, however they measure it, it means that me building, maybe there are just 3-bedroom houses, about 7. Now everybody, about 4 of those 3-bedroom houses are building like 16 apartments. You understand? It means that there's going to be an increase in water supply. There's going to be an increase in power supply. So if you are not able to measure that, it means that if this area is supposed to get this amount of power, it has increased. So it means that there is going to be a decrease somewhere. They always told us that there is excess power supply, but now we had the problem we're having now. And there's a lot of economic implications on that. It means that if there's a lighthouse somewhere where there's an office and the person is supposed to do something, the person will not be able to even print a letter to even send a proposal to a company. A tailor cannot even sew a dress for you to go for that your program. There's a lot of economic implications. So when we take all these things, they are the little things that make the big differences. The little things that make the big differences. So if you're able to, control all these things, we'll have a very prosperous country. Because now in our dispensation, people just do things anyhow. People just do things anyhow.
Guys, if we want to take your views on what we're discussing now, drop your comment in the comment section. We'll be wrapping up very soon. I'm going to take a short break. When I come back, then we'll do a wrap up. Okay, viewers, welcome back to our political talk show. Thank you for always being with us. Thank you for joining us. We want to wrap up, but before I allow my guest to move, he's going to, delve deeper into my next question before we do a wrap up. Recently, there have been concern about these two major political parties being very dominant in our political dispensation. That's the NPP and the NDC. Do you think that Ghana needs a third force?
Obviously.
A strong third force. Because NDC and NPP will be a force to reckon with.
For me, I don't think it's about a third force.
Yeah.
It's about who they actually bring as a presidential candidate for the country. The person's vision. The person's willingness to actually make the country a better place, because I believe the parties that you've mentioned have their own way of have their own constitution and their own way of doing their things. The NDC, for example, is more like a socialist political party, and where the NPP is more of a capitalist party. So it actually depends on who you're actually bringing on board to run your race and the people. But for the past 32 years, we've seen them and nothing has changed and all that, unless they are bringing somebody new, because I've not heard anything new from these people.
So if I should understand you very well, your aspect has got to do with a new person.
Yes. A new person.
Is it just a new person without ideas, or a new person with ideas, or what?
No, a new person with ideas.
Because if it's a new person and he has no ideas, he does not have what it takes to be the leader that Ghanaians want.
Of course, if you are running a presidential race, you have a lot of ideas. I mean, if you see, politics is about money. If you don't have the people on the grassroots to actually do the work for you.
Yes, if I ask you in 2016 or 2020, one of Equia Donko's policy, would you be able to tell me? Yeah, would you be able to tell me one of Equia Donko's or Safo Chirabosom's one of their policies? Would you be able to tell me? So you are saying that it's got to do with who the political party is bringing.
Yes, for me that's my take. I don't really care whether it's a third force, a new party or not. For me, my thing is who is going to be that person who have the country at heart and do the things that the people of Ghana need to be done. It doesn't matter whether it's NPP or NDC.
So not necessarily a third force.
Not necessarily a third force. So if NPP brings someone, maybe brings you, and I listen to your policies and you're telling me that, okay, we are doing this. Oh, Uber drivers, you are going to reduce their tax, their commission base they give to the companies who, young people who start a business will get funds, this, that. I'll be like, okay, this is
but these are the promises that the two political parties are giving us. So why are you saying nothing has changed?
Of course, nothing has changed. You and I know that nothing has changed.
Of course, a lot of things have changed. A lot of things have changed in Ghana. A lot of things have changed in Ghana. Our airport,
in a negative way, or
no, in a positive way. Okay. Our airport has not used to be like that. This current government has brought free education. We have seen the introduction of STEM education, which is far advancing, teaching our young ones into robotics and into the science field and all that. We have also seen the development of certain places where we saw the development of a housing project, Sagleme housing project, which has been left by this government. But we saw a whole lot. Recently, the current president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has inaugurated about 320 or 350 apartments for the Ghana Police Service and all that. Ghana has changed a lot. We might not be at where we want to be, but we are not where we used to be.
Of course, but
we have a lot of interchanges now that are making movement, mobility, transport, and all these things very easy, and all that. So Ghana is not as bad as you are talking about.
Yeah, it's not as bad, but you see, what's the central point of governance is the people.
It's the people, yes.
You understand? So those infrastructure, those things, yeah, of course, it's the government's responsibility. Me, if you come to me as a political party and tell me you are going to build roads. You've not told me anything. But who is going to who should build the roads? Who should provide power
the mandate is given to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can't come and campaign on you doing roads. Who is going to do the roads? You are supposed to tell me, like, you see, in developed countries, their core, the people they really think about, it's not about the infrastructure, it's the people that they are ruling. Yeah. So, for example, the children. I've never heard any policy of children that, okay, when we come, apart from the free SHS thing, the safety, the protection, like how are we going to, keep this our children, give them this conducive environment to actually, because the emergence of this social media and this slave queens and all that is having an effect on their children now. And the girls, now their role models are these slave queens and all that. When we were growing up, people's role models were people who were in the corporate world and all that. So what's the government doing about it? Those are the things I really want to hear. These roads and power supply and water, these things, you can't tell me, because who is going to do that? The private person cannot provide water. So these are the things that I believe that the government should actually put their feet down and do. When you do those things, it's in conjunction with the infrastructure development. Infrastructure development is your mandate to do. But what are you doing? For the women, for men, like everybody for business people. So one time I was talking to someone and I told him that businesses must be protected. One of the reasons why US actually became US was because they protected their business people. If you look at when Barack Obama came into power, he met with all the business people in the country, met with Mark Zuckerberg, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, because they are the movers of the country. Why should he meet with them? Because they employ most of the people. When Warren Buffett actually owns, now I think, is it 1% or 3% of America's money? If he pulls his money out, do you know the implication it's going to have on the US government? A lot. So I was telling someone that this bar, garage, that they brought this new design, the umbrella designs to. I feel the government should have protected that they are designed for them. That anybody who uses it should pay garage. We'll be raising millionaires if we do that. You understand? Now, if you see these lights with blue, that small lights, the strip lights, you say, they are called bloom bar lights. Because it was bloom bar that started that whole design. So if you are able to even protect that, their innovativeness and idea, it means that anyone who is going to actually do that will pay something to those who actually brought the idea. And if you don't want to pay, bring your own idea. That's where you are going to even bring an innovative environment to the country. Now people are going to think about new ideas to bring things.
Mr. Patrick, thank you very much. Would have loved to have this conversation over and over and over and over and over, but unfortunately, our time is up. Thank you for staying glued to your set and watching us. I believe that we have educated you. I believe that the conversation we have had today has opened your mind on certain things. We discussed Ghana's state of democracy and other things, So just as I mentioned earlier, if you want to participate in this program, drop your comment. We'll come to your way again with another episode of your political show. This has been your favorite political show with my panelist, Mr. Patrick. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you so much.
And I want to have this with you over and over and over again. I've enjoyed your conversations and the insight you have shared and everything. Thank you very much. So viewers, I'll come your way once again with another topic. Don't miss out on the next episode. Thank you very much. And for now, I'll say bye-bye.